Number 5. Renaud Hardy. Renaud Hardy was well known in the small town where he lived in Belgium, and it wasn't for good reasons. Hardy was often seen around town with his camera, and he was known to act aggressive and even creepy while he did his photography. One such run-in got him banned from the local bar. He brought in a large picture of the owner's wife that he had taken without her consent. Then, in mid-September 2015, Hardy's girlfriend, Linda Doms, was found dead in her bed. She had been beaten to death. Hardy was interviewed by the police, but there was no proof that he did anything wrong, so he was released. However, he later admitted to friends that he had killed Doms, and the friends went to the police. The police searched Hardy's apartment and they found a memory card with a very graphic video on it. Hardy had set up a GoPro in Dom's room and then ambushed her with some wooden sticks when she walked in. After the discovery of the video, Hardy was arrested and he confessed to the murder. After his arrest, Hardy was linked to 2 other murders and 3 attempted murders in the area. All the other victims were women who were attacked with wooden sticks. Hardy denies being involved with those murders and he claims he is not a serial killer. Number 4. Russell Williams. Russell Williams lived 2 completely separate lives. To most people, he was a respected and decorated colonel in the Royal Canadian Air Force. His second life, on the other hand, was driven by dark sexual desires. Williams had a habit of breaking into the homes of young women, dressing in their underwear and bathing suits, and then he would take pictures as he pleasured himself on their beds. William kept these pictures as mementos, and he had thousands of them. On November 24th, Williams broke into the home of Marie-France Como. He had already been there a few weeks earlier to take pictures, but on this visit, he broke in while Como was home and then hid in her basement. His plan was to attack her when she went to bed, but the plan was thrown off when Como's cat came downstairs and found Williams. Como went looking for her cat and found Williams instead. He attacked her, took her to the bedroom where she was bound and raped, and finally, Williams suffocated her with his bare hands in duct tape. Having crossed the line from pervert to murderer, Williams developed a taste for killing. In January 2010, Williams broke into the home of 27-year-old Jessica Lloyd, who lived alone. Williams attacked her in her sleep. Over the next day and a half, Lloyd suffered unspeakable horrors, and it came to an end when Williams strangled her with a rope. He then dumped her body in a wooded area. A week after the murder, the police had set up roadside checkpoints because they were looking for a very unique tire tread that was left at Lloyd's house. When Williams was stopped at one of these checkpoints, the officers immediately saw that the treads on his Pathfinder's tires were just like the ones they were looking for. 3 days later, Williams was brought into the police station and he confessed to the murders of Como and Lloyd. The police searched his house and not only did they find his disturbing selfie collection, but they found video recordings of the 2 brutal rapes and murders. Williams was sentenced to 2 life terms in prison, but he'll be eligible for parole in 25 years. For obvious reasons, the recordings of the 2 murders have never been released to the public. Number 3. The Hammer Maniacs. When it comes to cold-blooded and vicious serial killers, it doesn't get much worse than 19-year-olds Viktor Sayenko and Igor Sobyanruk, also known as the Hammer Maniacs. The 2 teenagers, who live in the Ukraine, started off killing animals before they moved on to people on June 25, 2007, when they murdered a 33-year-old woman who was walking home alone. The pair of demented teenagers would surprise ambush their victims by beating them in the head with a blunt object, often a hammer. They picked their victims at random. Most of the time it happened to be people who they found walking alone. Many times they killed multiple people on the same day, often within hours of each other. In total, they attacked 28 people, including men, women, and teenagers. Only 7 people survived. The young men's violent crime spree came to an end when the police traced the cell phone of their 21st murder victim, and they found it in the possession of the 2 young men. The police searched their bedrooms and found 300 pictures and 2 videos linked to the attacks. One of the 2 videos was leaked on the internet, and it depicts the horrific murder of a 48-year-old man who was riding a motorcycle. The video shows Sayenko and Sobyanruk waiting for the next person to come down the road, and then they attacked the unsuspecting man. The man was brutally beaten to death while the boys laughed and posed with the dead body. The video was presented at trial, and it was so graphic that the second video didn't need to be screened. It was never released to the public, but if it's anything like the video that was leaked, it's probably best if it stays that way. Number 2. Maury Travis. In 2001, Maury Travis, a hotel waiter in St. Louis, Missouri, began picking up prostitutes and bringing them back to his home. Sadly, at least 12 women would never leave his house alive. In Travis's basement, he had a secret torture chamber where he raped, tortured, and murdered the women that he brought home with him. Travis was caught when he sent a letter to the local newspaper after they wrote a story about one of his murders. The letter included a computer-printed map with an X marked on it. The police went to the location marked on the map and found another body. The police were able to use the map to trace the sender's IP address, and 2 weeks after the letter was mailed, Travis was arrested. Inside his home, the police found his torture chamber and they found several disturbing videotapes, including one called Your Wedding Day. The video starts off with a wedding, but then it switches to a woman who is on her knees and her wrists and ankles are handcuffed behind a pole. Sadly, that was just one woman, and there was multiple women on the tape who are tortured both physically and psychologically by Travis. The video also contained one murder. In one scene, Travis strangles a woman to death. After doing so, he says, "This is first kill, number 1. First kill was 19 years old. Name, I don't know. I don't give a f***." The tapes were so graphic and so disturbing that the chief of police ordered psychological counseling for all the officers who viewed them. Snippets of the video were also released to the media, but the murder footage was never made available. Travis hanged himself in his cell shortly after being arrested. Although Travis bragged about killing 17 women, police were only able to confirm 12 victims. Number 1. Armin Meiwes. Armin Meiwes says that he first developed his cannibalistic fetish between the ages of 8 and 12 when he fantasized about eating his classmates. Later on in life, in the year 2000, when Meiwes was 38, he posted a classified on an internet forum called Cannibal Cafe. In the ad, he said he was looking for a well-built 18 to 30-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed. Supposedly, Meiwes received over 200 responses, and he even met with one potential victim, but the man backed out at the last minute. Meiwes found another volunteer, 41-year-old Bernd Brandis. On March 9th, Brandis went to Meiwes' house where they had sex. After having sex, Meiwes cut off Brandis' penis, and both men tried to eat it raw, but it was apparently too rubbery. They then tried to flambe it, but that didn't work either. After their meal, Meiwes slit Brandis' throat. If this crime wasn't already disturbing enough, Meiwes videotaped the castration and Brandis' death as a souvenir. He also kept parts of Brandis' body in the freezer, and over the course of 10 months, Meiwes would cook up the meat and eat it. He said that the body tasted like pork, but sweeter. In December 2001, Meiwes had almost finished eating the remains of Brandis, and he posted a new ad looking for another victim, but this time someone phoned the police. The police searched Meiwes' house and found the videotape and pieces of Brandis in his freezer. Meiwes was arrested and was originally given 8.5 years in prison. However, he appealed that because he didn't think he was guilty because Brandis had volunteered, so therefore it was assisted suicide. When he was retried, Meiwes was given a stiffer sentence than the original sentence, and he was sentenced to life. Currently, he is in prison, where he says his diet is completely vegetarian.